Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah wa kafa, wa salamun ala ibadihi alladhina istafa. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri, wahlul uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Subhanaka la ilma lana illa ma 'allamtana innaka antal alimul hakim. An Abu Hurairah قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم الدنيا سجن المؤمن وجنة الكافر. Riwayah Muslim, Kama قال صلى الله عليه وسلم. Respected elders and listeners, youngsters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. We have started on the month of Safar. The year is 1444 in the Hijri calendar. So time is passing very fast. As we live in the material world and we interact with it on a daily basis, it is natural that we can fall in love with the world. This is natural. But that love should not, in the heart, should not be in such a level that it becomes an obstruction to the performance of your deeds, your ibadat and your hukukul ibad, you have to fulfill according to the promulgation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So if the heart has so much love that it comes in the way of our objective and our goal in this life, then we should remove it from the heart. And this is called zuhud. And zuhud is a very important quality of a believer. If a person does not have zuhud, then he'll get into problems all the time because he'll want this, he'll want that. Dunya is more important. Zuhud is a quality that makes a person dignified when he lives in this world. Dignified in the sense he will not stoop down just because he's getting some money or something like that. He'll stay dignified and he'll ask Allah for help. The other thing is, the heart is a place of love, and it is going to fall in love. You see some people who are remembering of Allah. Sometimes you find that Allah's name is mentioned, something you see in the creation that is so beautiful, you cry. You say, Allah, what you have created for us. So the heart can fall in love with Allah. And that's the ideal, because the heart has been there for Allah. Allah can only fit in the heart of a believer. The whole universe cannot contain Allah. But what if the heart falls in love with the world? Then the problem is that the heart will never be satisfied. Why? Because the world is not big enough. It doesn't have enough time to fulfill what the heart's desire. The heart is a place of test. Once the test is over, you have to take the exit from this world. And I want to share with you this hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Abu Sa'id al-Khudri radiyallahu anhu narrates that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Inna dunya hulwatun khadira." No doubt this world is sweet and green, vibrant, attractive. Wa inna Allah mustakhlifuhum fiha. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent to you in this world as His ambassador, His Khalifa. فَيَنْظُرُ كَيْفَ تَعْمَلُونَ. So then Allah watches you, how you behave as His Khalifa, what kinds of deeds you do. Do you remember Allah and the hereafter and the promises and the paradise that is prepared for you and work towards it? Or do you... Then Allah's Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, فَاتَّقُوا الدُّنْيَا وَاتَّقُوا النِّسَاءَ. So save yourselves from using unlawful ways to fulfill your desires in this world. فَاتَّقُوا الدُّنْيَا. That means fear Allah about the dunya. وَاتَّقُوا النِّسَاء. And avoid temptations with regard to women. So these are the things where a person can slip. We also need to, besides the hadith, we also need to reflect on the verses of the Quran that remind us about the nature of the world and the hereafter. So for example, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, اقترب بالناس حسابهم وهم في غفلة معرضون. صدق الله. This is in Surah Anbiya, the very first verse. That closer and closer to mankind comes his judgment. Time is passing and you are appearing close and close to leaving this world. So a person's qiyamah starts actually when he dies, because all the things of the hereafter start happening one after the other. When you're put in the grave, the first thing happens is you'll be questioned. Then you'll get up and you'll be standing in front of Allah on the Day of Judgment. And then you go pull sirat. And after that it'll be heaven or hell. So there's a long process that will start when you die. And therefore, we should not ignore the fact that it could come anytime. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also said in the Quran, بَلْ تُؤْثِرُونَ الْحَيَاةَ الدُّنْيَا وَالْآخِرَةُ خَيْرٌ وَأَبْقَى. You prefer the life of this world, but the hereafter is better and lasting forever. So these are some of the Quranic ayahs that make us understand. So with this introduction, I wanted to go into the hadith that I recited in the very beginning. This is where Abu Hurairah radiyallahu anhu, he said that Rasulullah said, "Ad-dunya sijnul mu'min wa jannatul kafir." Can you hear me all the way in the back? Okay, inshallah. I hope when downstairs it will be okay. So this hadith has two parts and contains very important lessons for the believer. The Prophet ﷺ has said, I have been given jawami'ul kalima. I have been given comprehensive speech. Very few words, but encapsulated encyclopedias. And you will see evidence of this as we proceed. So let us go to the explanation of the hadith, the first part, which is Ad-dunya sijnul mu'min. The world is a prison for the believer. So imagine somebody in a prison. So what are the three characteristics that reflect on his condition? The first one is that he is in a confined place. He cannot go outside his jail. So compared to the world outside, he is cramped up. And similarly, the believer, why did the Prophet say, Ad-dunya sijnul mu'min? Why did he compare the life of a believer to a person being in a jail? So then here it is that the believer, this world is very constricted compared to the vastness of the hereafter. So therefore for him, it is a sijn. The second one is just wondering if there's anything I missed here. Yeah. So I'd like to expand a little bit on this first part of the characteristics of a prisoner, and that is that he is living in a constrained place compared to the hereafter. Al-Mustawrid ibn Shaddad radiyallahu anhu said that he heard Rasulullah saying, I swear by Allah, this world in comparison with the hereafter is like one of you puts his finger in the ocean and takes it out. How much is left in your finger is this world. and the hereafter is the ocean. So this is just to explain the vast difference between what you have a little wetness on your finger compared to the entire ocean. And that ocean can come anytime. Your eyes close and you'll be facing the ocean. So imagine us spending all our lives, how I can increase this amount of water that I have. Increase more, work more, build houses, just increase, and then what happens? You have to leave everything behind anyway. Now, the key is about this hadith that in reality, no matter how big the ocean is mutanahi, means it is finite. The ocean that we compare to the what is on our finger, that is just to explain, but really there's no comparison because the ocean is also part of this world. So it is mutanahi, that means it is finite. غير mutanahi actually. The hereafter is غير mutanahi, which means it's unlimited, infinite. So what we are going towards will be there with us forever and ever and ever. And we are looking at that little moistness. Mullah Ali Qari rahimahullah explains that there is great consolation and a morale booster for the believers in this hadith, because people may be going through difficult times, but they're following the deen. Then there's good news for them, because this life will end very quickly, and then you'll have the whole eternity to enjoy. So it's a very big morale booster for people who don't fare well in this dunya, but still they are pious and they turn to Allah and don't move away from the truth. They don't try to steal people's money, or they don't try to deceive anybody. They are satisfied with what Allah has given them. Then this is a morale booster for them. Anas radiallahu anh narrates that Rasulullah said, on the day of judgment, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will call a person who is amongst the Ahlul Nar, the one who is destined to be in the fire. And he will be a person who was the most fortunate person in the history of humanity. He was filled with money, he had wealth, he never fell sick, he had everything. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will order the angels to take him to hell and just dip him in hell for a microsecond, just a little bit, and bring him back. Then he say, "Oh son of Adam, have you ever felt any enjoyment?" He says, "Wallahi ya Rabb, I don't know what anything pleasant is. There's nothing but horror." That little microsecond of hell will completely erase everything from his memory of his entire lifetime. And this is what he's going to say. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will ask the one who is among the Ahlul Jannah, the one who is destined to enter into paradise, and he is one of the most downtrodden in this world. He was not able to progress, things didn't go in his way, but he stuck to the bottom line, that I have to fulfill the orders of Allah and His Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Then he will be asked to be put into heaven, paradise, just for a microsecond. And when he is brought back, Allah will say, "O son of Adam, tell me, have you witnessed any difficulty?" He says, "Wallahi ya Rabb, I don't know what difficulty means. It's all pleasant." So this is what's going to happen, just a microsecond. And now we are talking about eternity. And so we have to think about these things. So the message of what I just discussed is the benefits of this world in comparison to the hereafter are so insignificant, so temporary, yet we spend days and nights with a concern to gain more and more worldly benefits. That is why Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is reminding us to ask ourselves, what are you running after while neglecting the benefits of the hereafter? And so that is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent the Anbiya alayhi salam actually to open up the reality of this world compared to the hereafter. We have the Quran, and the one who came with the Quran, that is the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, taught us this, opened up the secrets of this world and the hereafter. This is the kafir, is the one who rejects Allah. So now here, if the world had the case, imagine distributing various countries to people, like I give myself the whole of the United States, with all its benefits I can have. Which part of the wing of a mosquito have I got? That we have to think. The second characteristic of the prisoner is that he is bound by the rules and restrictions. Similarly, a believer is not allowed to behave as he wants. He has to follow all the things that are provided in the Sharia for us. And the third characteristic of the condition of the prisoner is he is always looking for the time when he can escape, come out of the prison. And this is where there's a yardstick for us as believers. If Allah's Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam compared us and our condition to that of being in a prison, then one of those characteristics should belong to us, which is we should long for death. But we don't. We want to live as long as we can. It is fine as long as our actions are increasing our position with Allah. But if our actions are to waste time and just leave it as enjoyment, then it's going to be negative for us the longer you live. So these are things that we need to think about. One Anasin, an Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam called, Allahumma la aisha illa aisha al-akhirah. Anas sallallahu alaihi reported that the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Oh Allah, there is no true life worth living but the life of the hereafter." This hadith in Bukhari and Muslim. And also that man habba liqa'a Allah, habba Allah liqa'ahu. Whoever seeks to come to Allah, meet Allah, Allah also likes to meet him. Now there are certain things that a person may find that he doesn't want to meet Allah. He doesn't want to leave this world. So one of the things is that a person should not be afraid of death, because death is a gift for a believer. Death is a gift for the believer. If the person is worried about azab, the punishment, then he should make accommodations to prepare for that. And how do you prepare for it? By trying to change your ways, trying to start obedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and also to try to go to the graveyards. It reminds you of death. You try to move a little bit away from dunya and go to the hereafter when you are close to a grave. And the other thing is try to give sadaqah. Like one person, he had a shaykh, he went to him and said, "Ya shaykh, I just don't feel like going away from this world. I don't feel like meeting Allah. I don't feel like going there." He said, "Do you do sadaqah?" He said, "Very little." He said, "From now just do it regularly and increase your sadaqah and meet me in 6 months." So in 6 months he came to him and he asked him, "What do you feel?" He said, "I love to go to the other world. I'm ready for it." So it depends on what you know you have waiting for you. If you don't give in sadaqah, what's there waiting for you? This is also very, very interesting to grasp and understand. Abdullah ibn Mas'ud radhiyallahu anhu narrates that when Rasulullah recited the following verse, فَمَنْ يُرِدِ اللَّهُ أَنْ يَهْدِيَهُ, يَشْرَحْ صَدْرَهُ لِلْإِسْلَامِ. And whoever Allah wills to guide, He expands his breast to Islam. So then someone asked, Ya Rasulullah, what is this you're talking about, the breast, expanding the breast? Then the Prophet said, when Noor enters the breast, it expands. So the Sahaba asked, Ya Rasulullah, is there any sign for that? So he said, yes, there's 3 signs. And the signs were, Al-inawatu ila daril khulud, wat-tajafi an daril ghurur, wal-ista'adu lil-maut qabla nuzuli. 3 signs. Number 1, he has shawq, he has desire for the life everlasting in the hereafter. And he has detachment to the world which is a house of deception. And the last one is that he prepares for death before it actually comes. So these are the 3 signs of a person who is rightly guided, and his chest expands with Islam. So these are the things that we learn from this hadith. I'm going to go very quickly now. وَجَنَّةُ الْكَافِرِ, the reason why it is a paradise for the wonder why Muslims suffer so much compared to non-Muslims. This is now a very important part in which talking about. Anas reports that the Messenger of Allah said, Allah does not waste a good deed of a believer. Its ajr, its reward is given in this life, but mainly in the hereafter. He doesn't get all the reward for good deeds in this life. For an unbeliever, if he does something good sincerely, Allah gives him too much reward, a lot, but nothing in the hereafter. So, the foundation for reward in the hereafter is Iman. If a believer does bad deeds, he will get his result in this life as well as in the hereafter. But Allah does not like to punish His believing servants. Then Abu Bakr Siddiq asked, Ya Rasulullah, then what will happen to us if we are going to get here also and in the hereafter? So then Rasulullah said, Allah does not like to punish His believing servants. So He says, don't you suffer pain, discomfort, sickness, injury, loss, and so on. Through these, Allah forgives and washes away many of the sins. So in all conditions, the believer is in good shape. There was one thing I wanted to mention to you, but I think we can mention it in some other. It's about condition of the death of a non-believer who has everything, and the death of break the glass. So he dies without drinking water. And this person, the rich man, he has the desire to eat some delicious fish. Allah makes the angels put that fish in his pond. The servants get it, fry it, and eats it and dies. So then the angels ask, Ya Allah, we couldn't understand. We have to do what you say. But why did you do this for this person and that for that person? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, you do not know, but I know. This person who got his wish, I gave him everything. But one good deed of his I did not pay him for. So I let him die with this good food. And the other person, he had everything going towards paradise. But his one sin he had not made tawbah for. So by depriving him of the water, I made his path straight to paradise. So when things happen in the world, try to focus on what is Allah thinking about when He does certain things to us. May Allah give us tawfiq. Subhanallah bihamdi. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika. Nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk. Jazakumullah.
لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. حي على الصلاة. حي على الصلاة. حي على الفلاح. الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله.
الحمد لله رب العالمين الذي خلق السماوات والأرضين، والصلاة والسلام على رسول الكريم سيد الأنبياء والمرسلين وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. أما بعد، قال الله تعالى: الشيطان الرجيم، بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اقترب للناس حسابهم وهم في غفلة معرضون. وقال: بل تؤثرون الحياة الدنيا والآخرة خير وأبقى. وقال: يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم، ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين فاستغفروه فإنه هو الغفور الرحيم. الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونؤمن به ونتوكل عليه، ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلله فلا هادي له، ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، ونشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إن الله وملائكته يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد وبارك وسلم. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. عباد الله رحمكم الله، إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون. وأقم الصلاة.
الله.
الله أكبر. إن الذين قالوا ربنا الله ثم استقاموا تتنزل عليهم الملائكة ألا تخافوا ولا تحزنوا. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. قد أفلح من تزكى وذكر اسم ربه فصلى بل تؤثرون الحياة الدنيا والآخرة خير وأبقى إن هذا لفي الصحف الأولى صحف إبراهيم وموسى. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. As-salatu wa-salamu ala Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Inshallah, there will be no Friday halakas tonight due to the long weekend. We'll continue next Friday, inshallah. Also a reminder, the Maryland Institute of Development is having their very big program tomorrow in Columbia, starting at Zuhr time. So immediately after Zuhr, the program will start. It is for the completion of Sahih Bukhari and the graduation ceremony. Everyone from the community is invited. If you have not already RSVP'd, please see the link in the newsletter, as well as the email that just came out and RSVP for that tomorrow. Also, in the newsletter, you can find information about the ICCL Academy, which is now enrolling young children for the school year, as well as the Samarat Institute, which will be starting very soon on September 6th, and that is the evening weekday classes for the children. So please see those two, and also look out for an email for the Sunday school. The fall semester for Sunday school will be starting on September 18th, inshallah. Jazakumullah khairan. And once again, if you have not already picked up a calendar, please do so on your way out. They are free. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.